I'm Chris Yandak. Today on CYInterview, we welcome actress Corbin Reid. Run the World Season 2 premieres on Starz May 26th. Corbin, thanks so much for joining us on CYInterview today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. So just to begin, before we get into anything else, congrats on recently getting married. How is married life?
Thank you. Married life is great. We had actually been together for 7 years already before getting married. So there are some changes, of course, like it feels more official, once you have the wedding, you go through that sort of like experience together and saying your vows before your family and friends. But we were already basically married. So, but it's lovely to like make it official.
Oh, the pictures were beautiful that were posted on your Instagram page. These days we got to go through the Instagram before we have somebody on as a guest. And I was just like, how pretty. Those are beautiful photos. It's always nice to see good news in the world, obviously, with everything that continues to go on. Go ahead.
Sorry. It was really special having it there. Like in Jamaica, we did it in Negril.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandparents are from Jamaica. They grew up in Westmoreland and Clarendon. So I did grow up going to Jamaica, and my grandparents have passed away. They weren't at the wedding, so it was just a really nice way for me to feel close to them. And one of my grandparents basically like helped raise me, so it was just, she meant a lot to me. So it was nice to feel like she was there in spirit, and I definitely felt her spirit there. It's such a beautiful place.
Truly wonderful and delightful, and thank you so much for the feel-good story of the day, as I like to say. So let's move forward and let's take our viewers through a timeline of your career, and let's just begin with the easiest one. Why did you want to be an actress?
I started out doing theater. I started when I was like 5. I think the first play I ever did was called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, which is you probably have no idea what that is, but it was basically children's theater. And I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a city where most people don't know there are the most theaters per capita in the country. So I did a lot of theater growing up, and I just got the bug early on. I did theater all through high school, and when it sort of came time for me to make a decision about whether or not I wanted to do it full time, it just was kind of a no-brainer for me. I was like, this is where I'm happiest. I feel most comfortable on stage. I feel most confident on stage. And, I was like, this is what I need to do. So I love telling stories however I can, whether it's writing or acting or directing. Like, I just love storytelling. So I went straight to Broadway and after college and did like a bunch of shows, and then was like, now I need to do TV and film. And then I moved to LA, and here we are.
Well, going back a little bit, so I was going to ask that. So what did you take away after you finished your degree at the University of Michigan? You moved to New York, you get on all these different Broadway shows. What do you take away from all those experiences and where you are today? What do you mostly remember about all those moments?
Oh, man. I think the synergy and the energy of a live audience and the connection that you get when you're on stage with a live audience, the laughter or the sort of like shock, like you can feel everything. And especially nowadays, it's like, so much Zoom is going on, so you don't get that. And then, when you're on set, it's very different for TV and film because it's like cut, like you can go back and redo it. But on stage, you get one shot. And if you mess it up, you mess it up. Of course you do it over and over again. So the mess ups are few and far between because it feels very but I think it's just the energy and the synergy and the connection that you get to an audience. It's exhilarating. Like it's really exciting. And the idea that you only have one chance, there's no breaks, besides intermission. And I also think doing Broadway was an incredible boot camp for me and gave me an incredible work ethic. Like, I don't feel like there's anything that I couldn't do. Like people are like, how do you memorize so fast? I'm like, I've done a lot of plays, I've done them and I've learned parts quickly. Like my first show I ever did was American Idiot. Wait, go ahead.
No, did you want to finish? I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I was a swing and I had to memorize. I think they gave me 2 weeks to learn the lead of the show I understudied, and then I learned 2 other parts. And, it's not just lines. It's like all the music. You have to know where they are on stage. You have to know when they're there. Like, you have to know their specific choreography at different parts of the show. Like, it gives your brain like this incredible workout.
Oh, no denying it. So then moving forward, we're going to jump a little bit ahead. TV series, one season of How to Get Away with Murder, Viola Davis. Not much bigger than that as far as television goes. What did you take away from being in that one season?
I was so nervous to meet Viola Davis. She obviously was my hero. Shiro, we'll call her Shiro. And I was so nervous, and I was like, oh, I probably won't even see her. Like, I was playing the love interest of one of the leads on the show, and there was no guarantee that I was going to be in scenes with her or see her or anything. And then, of course, day one, the minute I get to set, it's just me and her in the trailer, like 5 a.m. And I'm sitting right next to her. And she just treated me from day one like I belonged, and like I'd always been there. And it's just so nice. And I got a lot of wisdom pearls from her. I learned a lot from her in a very short period of time. Even just watching her work, it is mesmerizing. Like, I remember the first day I had like a hair test after I got the job, and I said, can I stay afterwards? And I'm just curious. I just want to watch for a little bit. And I just was watching her sort of in the shadows, like doing her lines, and like just watch. She's such a powerhouse. And it was just so exciting, like getting to be that up close and see somebody who's that talented and trained and just masterful at their craft work. And then to also just be that close to her and have her give me so much warmth and wisdom was just, what more could you ask for?
Is there one Viola Davis takeaway?
God, that's a hard question. A Viola Davis takeaway? You're never too big to be kind.
Yeah, that is true.
That honestly was one of the greatest observations I made. Again, like I said, from day one, like, you're never too famous or too big to be kind. And no matter how famous you get, you're still going to have to fight for what you want.
Oh, absolutely.
No matter how many credits you have, because what happens is the ceiling, what you want, keeps expanding. And so you have to keep fighting, I mean, that's how you grow as an artist. And I think people think, okay, well, you get to a certain level and things are just handed to you. And it's like, well, not if you're not just plateauing and you're just settling. It's like, she was telling me things that she was fighting for. And I was like, how? That's incredible that, like, you're where you are. I mean, she was nominated that year for the Emmy and she ended up winning. And I remember just thinking, like, wow, like, this is what making it looks like. And she was still fighting for so many things. She just started her production company. Like, yeah, it's amazing.
So moving forward, now we get to the good stuff. Loved season 1 of Run the World. Phenomenal. Could watch it again. I don't usually say that, but I could watch it again. Sandy, graduate assistant, first season, has a relationship with one of the professors at the university. What do you take away from this whole entire experience working with Brescia and Amber? I mean, it must just be like, there must be some parts of this show that you just relate to so much and things that you've been through in your own life, but just how wonderful is this? I know we always like to say when we're going through a career, it's always going to get better. It's always going to get better. But does it ever get any better than this? At least at this moment, I can't imagine it does.
You know what? I'm working with 2 women who've become very good friends. And it's hard in Hollywood. I mean, it's, you don't always get like friends that become like castmates that honestly become like very close friends or family. Like,
yep.
Like that it's rare. And I feel so blessed. And we are so alike, our characters. So like, kudos to the creatives for just casting so well. But honestly, like from the jump, I met them at the test. They had both already been cast, I believe. And I was the last one, or one of the last to be cast. It was me and one other person. And we were just laughing and giggling, and like Kim Coleman, the casting director, had to keep coming back because she had us in a back room, and she was like, we're trying to run auditions with the other girls, can you guys please be quiet, because we were just having so much fun at the audition. I mean, people ask us, how did we get that chemistry? And honestly, it was just instant. And I think, in the chemistry read, they saw how instant it was and how natural it was. Like, it just didn't take much work. And then on top of it, I've been waiting my entire career to play a role like this, where I feel like it's a woman who is, intelligent and vulnerable and strong, but also like makes a lot of messy mistakes. Like, my character is so complex, and I also think she's so relatable. And, some of the greatest compliments I've received, or feedback I've received, not even compliments, feedback I've received from people coming up to me and just being like, you have no idea what it means to feel like I see myself on the screen, and I see that in you ladies, and I see that in you. And it feels so good. So thank you for representing me, and thank you for representing us. Like, I've never had that, I think I've never had people give me that sort of outpouring. So that's been really, really lovely as well.
Well, I think that Sandy is the anchor of the show, really. She's the one who, she's raising the child of this man that she's dating that's not hers. She has to go to school. And on top of it, she's got all these friends who've got all this other drama, and they always come to her to look for the sober situations or to solve their problems or to help them with something. So it's like her character really is the anchor of the entire group.
Totally. And well, what's interesting, because in season 2, you're going to see all kinds of changes with my character. She's still fighting, she still is the anchor, but she's also grappling with, being the anchor for everybody, and at what cost to herself. So like in her relationship with her thesis advisor, it's like she is sort of thrust into this position that she ends up loving, but it's tough to focus on yourself and focus on your career when you're also like raising someone else's kid. And I think that becomes like a very big topic in season 2. And she also just finds other paths for what she wants and draws really strong boundaries. And I think it's beautiful to have both. It's like, you want to be a nurturer and a supporter and all of these things, but you also need to take care of yourself. And like, she's young, like she needs to figure out what she wants. So season 2 is it's like, just when you thought you knew who she was, you get to see her grapple with all these other things. So
she feels taken for granted, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so then just as an overview, and we'll just get into this quickly, for the creative points of the people who watch Run the World, Ella, the character played by Andrea Bardot, not coming back, is there at least going to be a mention of her character departing the show in the episode 1? Will it be an easy transition? And I know Tika Sumpter's now coming on the show with you guys. What is that going to look like?
Yes, we absolutely. The first episode is very much dedicated to wrapping everything up, and she is mentioned and dealt with, and we deal with it, and I think in a very responsible way, and in a way that like will leave people feeling like, okay, like we can continue to watch these women and we still love these women, and like, let's see where all this goes. So I think they did a really good job of wrapping that up in a bow. And Tika did join us this season, and she is at the heart of my character's sort of the conflict that I was talking about earlier. So I had so much fun being on set with her and working with her. She's obviously a powerhouse, and I was so grateful that I got to have a scene partner like that.
From the haves and the have-nots to Run the World.
Yeah, well, and also, Mixed-ish. She's done a lot.
Absolutely, no denying it. So how would you then overall define season 2 for everybody who's looking forward to it beginning on May 26th on Starz?
I think it's you're not going to feel like it goes by as quickly. I will say that, and just in terms of like, people were complaining a lot last season that it was only 24 minutes. And I think because we were trying to focus on 4 women and like really cover everyone, we weren't like, it was very much an ensemble show. But now you get to take your time a little bit more and sit in the storylines a little bit more, so you can kind of relish in each person's sort of journey. So I think it feels longer, even though it's not longer. The episodes actually are a little bit longer, but I think people will enjoy really getting to sit with each character and not feeling like the show is over as soon as it started. You're still going to get the laughs. You're still going to get the drama. You're still going to get, beautiful men to look at and, journey along with on the journey. The fashion is still there. It really just is like a beefed up version of season 1. I do not think people are going to be disappointed. We were so excited filming season 2, and Rochelle Williams, like, shout out to her, our showrunner. She really came in and took the reins and just did an incredible job. It's always hard. It's hard to top a season like that.
Yep.
I mean, the response was we knew it was good. We didn't know what the response was going to be. And it was very exciting. And it's hard to come in new and top something like that. But she did it. And I mean, she's done it before with Love Life, and she did it again with our show. So grateful for her. And I just think the writing's there, the chemistry's there, the drama, the fun, the fashion. Patricia Field came back again and, gave us those fabulous clothes, like gave us the Sex and the City treatment all over again. So it's just fun. It's fun for the eyes to look at and, the heart to watch.
Oh, absolutely. There's no denying that. So, we've got beautiful women in great professions, lots of layers, lots of interesting things going on, lots of lessons. It's just an all-around show. You get to see these women at their best moments, at their lowest moments, and their most beautiful moments. It's just phenomenal. It really is.
Thank you.
So moving forward, one last question. Rosie O'Donnell comes in for an episode as a therapist. What was that like?
Oh, it was so cool. She's so cool. Like, she's just cool. I don't know what else to say. She's so smart. She's so funny. She's so gracious. I was nervous. I was really nervous to work with her. I've seen her in so many things. And again, it was like another thing. Like, you look up to her, and our scene, that episode, we each only just sat in a room with her for like 6 hours. Poor
Wow.
Rosie, she like shot her entire episode, I think, in a day because she has a million things going on. And she just sat with each of us in a room for 6 hours. It was a therapy episode. Mm-hmm. And, but it was so cool, like getting to act with her, opposite her. And she's just as smart and funny as you would imagine her to be, and gracious and kind. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. It was awesome.
Spoke with her years ago when she was doing another project on CYInterview. She's just a very down-to-earth human being. Is the best way to explain it. Everybody is treated the same, I think, is the best way to say it.
Yes, an egalitarian, 100%. Another person who you're just like, you meet and you're not disappointed. And the thing that stands out to you is like, she's so famous. She could be one way, but she just she sees everyone, and everyone matters. And
absolutely.
that to me in this business is priceless. There's a lot of people who you get smoke blown up your butt, and you have to that can make a lot of people float away, and you got to remember, you didn't get here alone, and everybody matters. And it means a lot too. You have to remember the influence you're having. Everyone's watching you. She's coming onto a set where a bunch of people look up to her, and that matters. You're influencing us just as much as you're influencing the people that you're performing for. So.
Oh, no denying it. No denying it. So moving forward, a few more. You also have a passion away from the acting stage for interior design. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I bought a home during the pandemic, and it's a new build, and I did not know that I was this passionate about it, but really it started with me just loving to create things. And I've gotten really into millwork and woodworking, building things or doing millwork in my home to give it character, and architecture and decor and antiques. Honestly, when I was in New York filming season 2, I had lived in the city for years, so I wasn't amazed by New York. I feel like I've seen a lot of New York, so I wasn't dying to explore New York. What I did discover was Hudson, which is a beautiful little under 2-hour train ride upstate. And it has the most incredible antiquing scene. And so honestly, I think I went up 7 weekends and just went antique shopping, or I just get really inspired by objects again that have a story. And I I guess that's just like the through line of my life. I love stories, and I sort of discovered through buying a home and having to furnish and decorate a home that, you know, my creativity translated to this medium as well, and it just sort of exploded all over my house. So it's been fun to share. I do have a YouTube channel called Story Design, and I share like my DIY projects and my woodworking and, you know, my tidbits that I've learned along the way with people, and they seem to be enjoying it. So it's a fun hobby.
Yeah, we'll link to it at the bottom of the CY interview on all the different pages we have, of course.
Yay,
And so so moving forward now, of course, CY interview is based here in Las Vegas. Last year, you were here in Las Vegas. I saw there was one picture of you at the Aria Resort and Casino, the pool there.
Yes.
Have you been to Las Vegas before that? Have you come often? What are your fondest memories of being here in the entertainment capital of the world?
Funny story. So I don't know if it's still there, but I used to, when I first moved to LA, do a gig at the Rose Rabbit Lie at the Cosmopolitan, where I would like sing a jazz set, and I would come up on the weekends and I would sing like Friday, Saturday, and then drive back to LA. It wasn't every weekend. It was more so kind of sharing the gig / filling in with a friend. But it was so fun. I would wear like, you know, flashy gowns and jewelry and just kind of slink on stage and sing like a bunch of jazz songs. And it was just like a fun way to perform live. I love Vegas. I think it's an awesome opportunity for people to like get intimate with artists that, you know, you can't, when you're in like a massive stadium, it doesn't feel as exciting. Whereas like in Vegas, you can kind of get a little bit closer in a way. It feels like we just, when we were up there, that picture you saw, my husband got us tickets to John Legend, and we were like right there in this theater, and it just felt like you could like reach out and touch him. And it was an awesome experience. So yeah, I've been a frequenter of Vegas, and I've stayed at the Cosmopolitan and performed there many times. Is that still there, the Rose Rabbit Lie?
I do not know, honestly, to tell you the truth, but we will have a few questions after the CY interview is over and a couple fun facts for you, actually. But moving forward, what do you want people to know about you that we don't?
What do people to know about me? Oh, I guess that I aspire to be a director. I've directed and wrote and produced a short that did really well on like the film circuit, and I've done a lot of shadowing. And so hopefully that's like the next thing you'll see me doing in, you know, aside from other acting gigs, is like bringing that into the fold of, you know, storytelling. That I love storytelling is directing. And shadowed on my show, which was really fun. I shadowed director, one of our directors named Nasrin Dubai, which was a really awesome experience. She's a really powerful, knowledgeable female director. So that was awesome. And yeah, so hopefully you can find me one day directing.
I think anything is possible these days in show business. We've seen it, and we are getting to a point in Hollywood where actors are now producing, actors are now directing TV episodes, they're directing movies. Everybody's basically wanting to do a little bit of everything. It's not the same Hollywood of even 10 years ago.
And I think you kind of have to, and people get excited. Like,
agreed.
When people see my short, they're like, "You did that? I can't believe it." I'm like, yeah, like, you know, I've also produced and like co-directed a music video for a song that I wrote. Like, it's just, you kind of, and it gives you a better sense of when you are on a set, like what is important. And it just makes you more well-rounded as an artist. I think when you kind of can like see everything in the room and you're not guessing what this person does or how this works, and it gives you a certain sensitivity and just like expands your artistry and your creativity when you know and are familiar with how all the pieces work.
Corbin Reid stars as Sandy in Run the World. Season 2 debuts on Starz. May 26th actress. Yay. Corbin Reid, thank you so much for being with us on CYInterview. Anything you want to say in closing to your fans or the fans of the show or anything like that?
No, just see you on, what is it, Sundays? No, Fridays. It's Fridays. May 26th is a Friday. We'll see you on Fridays. Don't forget.
To kick off the Memorial Day weekend, something like that, or around that time. Thank you so much for being on CYInterview. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to like this video and subscribe for more CYInterview content and fantabulous CY interviews. I'm Chris Shandek. Thank you for watching today's CY Interview segment from Las Vegas. Please hit the like button and please hit the subscribe button to be updated on all future CY Interview content from Las Vegas and beyond.